All right, there we go. Should be recording. All right. Hello, everybody. So much going on in the country. It's hard for me to not want to talk about a little bit of what I went through before I even bothered to do YouTube. Because I was in a trade school for 5 years of my life. I've talked about it here and there. I leave comments about it all the time. I used to work 84 hours a week. Okay, sometimes 3 months in a row. Sometimes I only got 2 months. Sometimes I got 3 months. And I worked with people in the top of the class that were getting 98 hours a week. Okay? And we went to night school. All right? And I'm bringing it up because in that program, although we were working and putting those hours in and paying for our insurance, a lot of us lost our insurance. Okay? Guess what? During whose presidential administration? Obama's. All right? So I see what's going on now. And, I had the patience and the tolerance and the aptitude to get into politics for a little while during that time. And since I felt betrayed and let down by the Democrats, like they just decided that their apprenticeship program isn't important anymore. They don't need these jobs. They don't need these skilled workers. They need. Go ahead and fill in the blank. Take a wild guess what they needed instead of skilled, certified, licensed workers. That's one of the things that keeps echoing in my memory. Is one of the master electricians I worked with told me that the city no longer cared about our skills. What? I'm in an apprenticeship trying to learn how things work, and he tells me that the city no longer cares about our skills. What's that supposed to mean? And that was the first time he said, well, these DEI hires are more of a priority than we are. And I remember asking him, what's a DEI hire? And he said to me, wait until you find out. So, I mean, that's the story I tell about back in 2010. Never heard of DEI in my life before that, then. But seeing these videos here online, on YouTube and whatnot, about how the Democrat Party has abandoned the middle class, pretty much. And it really seems that way. From what I've experienced, they've just, if you're either wealthy enough to be a Democrat and not be affected by your own policies, or you were, working hard in a program that was just going to use you up and let you be a statistic and an example. I had to get a lawyer to investigate why my insurance was pending. That apprenticeship school told me, the chairman of the apprenticeship school, the NJATC, told me, we can no longer help you with your insurance. Call State Health, tell them what you're doing. So I called State Health, told them what's going on, and State Health told me I should be all set. I said I was an apprentice, I was working, I had a back injury, I had an electrical burn, I need to see a doctor. Oh, you're all set. So I would go to the ER or go to the hospital over in Boston and get checked in, and they'd go to run my insurance, and they'd tell me, oh, your status is still pending. And this was going on like month after month. And here I am just waiting patiently. And after about, a year or so of that, I called the insurance again, and they were telling me the most outrageous thing I ever heard was white people need to wait. I sound so white. What? So I just called the Attorney General. I'm like, why did they tell me white people need to wait? And I was paying into my package for 5 years. I was paying into insurance, and now I can't get insurance for hurt after getting a back injury and an electrical burn, repairing things for the city with workers who weren't qualified to be doing it in the first place because they kept breaking safety protocol. And why am I the bad guy for speaking up about the guy that isn't trained to do what I was training to do? I gave 110% of my life to do these jobs, to be placed with somebody that maybe gave 2%. And it wasn't always the case. It was just a few exceptions that happened. I will never understand what's going on. I just wanted to build cool things, man. And instead, I got used up, left uninsured. I nearly lost my leg and died because the electrical burn got so bad. And every ER I went to around Boston was like, you need a primary care. Call State Health again. Call State Health, Mass Health. Oh, you should be all set. You should be all set. So I eventually got a lawyer. And when I got a lawyer, that meant I had to bring all the companies I was working for into it. And that whole workman's comp thing, that was a nightmare. Because it was like me against 10 different employers. Like, I don't want to go through this. I just want my health care I paid for. But they had to investigate all of that. So, man, I don't know. All I know is I'm speaking up for myself. I used to work 84 hours a week, months at a time, and go to night school, not missing any time, having perfect attendance. And I was not the top of the, like I said, the guys that were top of the class were 98 hours. And those dudes were like military or something. There were some Marines in there, some Air Force. Those guys were meant to function on that level. I was just some working class dude trying to work up from nothing, work my way up from nothing, just work ethic and, all the references. I got so many references just to get into that program. People vouched for my work ethic. And then for some reason, in the end, my work ethic didn't matter anymore. So when people say the Democrats betrayed the middle class, I don't know what to make of it anymore. But anyway, I'm going to make this a short video and leave it there because I don't like talking politics too much. But thanks for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Good luck, people of Earth. Bye-bye.